Our brains are not hardwired. They are wired, but they are able to be rewired and refocused and reset, which is just, to me, is so awesome and exciting.
Yes, thankful. Right.
Yes.
Thank goodness for that.
Now, when something very traumatic happens, we had
Mhm.
talked some about this before.
Yes.
It is able for the brain to become built into a stronghold. And of
Yes.
course, we know what a stronghold
Mm.
means. Any of us who have ever studied history or anything else, it can be a fortress, which
It's
means
powerful.
that there are actually walls that have been built up around that fortress to keep it in place.
Mm.
What that means inside the brain is, as the brain has been traumatized or just extremely fearful, or a situation, often a trauma situation, is
Mm.
fortified when someone has believed that this would never happen to them.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna stop you right there
Okay.
because the part of the doing this whole series is hearing people's stories. I know some people know a little bit about mine, but I have been through abuse in my past that was able to break free and live in freedom today. But there was a situation I was in with an ex, and I was in a car, and he was in such a rage driving, like
Mm.
speeding and almost coming driving off the road, and he started strangling me as he's driving, and
Mm.
I'm in the passenger side right next to him, and then finally pulled off to the side. But he had his arms around me, and I lost, like, I couldn't breathe, and I was going unconscious, and I was thinking to myself, Jesus help me, like, I can't believe this was not meant to be my
Yes.
life. Like,
Yes.
why is this happening? And there was actually another couple in the back seat, and it was friends of ours, and he was jumping on him, trying to get him off of me, and it was just craziness. And I opened the car door and was able to slip out on the ground, and it was wet pavement because it was storming that night,
Mm.
pouring down rain. And I ran into oncoming traffic to get help. That's how desperate I was. Not all the way out in the street, but I was
Yes.
flagging cars
Mm.
down. No one would stop. No one would help me. And I felt so alone and so like, this is my life. Like, I'm stuck. It was a fortress. That word you used when I read that in your book,
Mm-hmm.
The Culturally Wired Brain, you guys have to pick this up because it's an amazing book, but it does, it, that quote right there stuck out to me because it was that fortress that I felt like had built up so high that there was no way I could get out unless I was going to be dead. Like, there was no way for me to escape the situation. Um, thank goodness I was able to eventually get away from him and figure out restraining orders and do the whole process, but to get away from him and start a new life. But it was not easy. And so I want you to give some helpful information when you're in that situation. Like, I wish I knew what I know now, because I've grown so much and I've been able to empower myself to know my identity, know what I deserve in my life, and see myself. I'm a completely different woman than I was back
Right.
then.